Folks, welcome into sportsbookreview.com. It's Wednesday, and it's time for the Major League Baseball show. 4 of us, more fun to be had today. And also, the good part about it is we do have some live in-game analysis that we can provide, see if we can jump on some of these live lines and win some money. But it's Wednesday. It's a full card. Yesterday for myself, couldn't have went better. Hit a first 5 innings team total over in the top of the first inning, and the Baltimore Orioles maybe looked like a genius yesterday, easily getting over the 3.5. We'll go around the horn here. Kyle Purviance, how was your day yesterday? And I know we went speed burst. We got to rush. You got to get to the golf course. We got business to take care of first.
Yeah, so much. I'm in the Tiger Red today. Like, this shit's important. Today is going to be a good day. Yesterday, this is what I get for trusting Jason's Mets. So I blame Jason. So if you tailed me and played the Mets, make sure to let Jason know at Jason_Radowitz on Twitter. Let him know it is all his fault. But overall, I mean, it's a great day to be like, spring eventually will be here for everybody. The universe, we're going to have a packed house of MMA. The world's getting back to normal. So I say every day is a good day. You're not going to win them all. Back at it today, and excited to be here with all 3 of you.
And I got to tell you, Jason, as we swing it around the horn, we joked yesterday about your Mets, and maybe they're just playing in Siberia each and every game. So I flip on immediately today, and I'm saying, you know what? Mets probably got some balmy weather. Yep, back in the 30s for the Mets today.
Yeah, exactly. And just seeing the Phillies Giant game coming back on. The game was in a rain delay. Now it's back on. You're seeing all these pants, and you're seeing jerseys just kind of swinging due to the wind. So that's the kind of day we're going to have today. Lots of rain, lots of wind, lots of terrible weather. Might even get some snow in Colorado. Could be fun. Yesterday wasn't the best for me. The first day I didn't profit since April 11th. So that stung a little bit. That was bad. Had some really bad analysis there on those games, but we're going to try to turn it around today.
Wednesdays with Chelsa. Welcome back into the show. We're going to have a lot of fun talk. Maybe we have a first 5 that you might be looking at, but we're going to hit this card hard today, Chelsa. Welcome back in.
Yeah, I'm licking my wounds after last night. My best play was the first 5 under in the Brewers-Padres game, and wouldn't you know, of the 5 runs scored in the first 5 innings, only 1 of them were earned. So it always stings when you are on the wrong side of a terrible error. I think my handicap was right as both pitchers looked really solid. Corbin Burns continuing to do historic things with his strikeout numbers. And Chris Paddock, not bad either, minus those unearned runs. So hopefully my luck is a little bit better today because, as some of us like to say, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Right. Absolutely. By the way, watching the Phillies game, talking about being better than lucky than good, the San Francisco Giants doubled off the wall. But the tag was missed, but the runner was off of the base. Here's my favorite part. We talk about umpires each and every time. I'm watching from my TV. He's out by a mile. The ump walks over. It's like, oh, he's just going to call him out and arrives the safe side. It's unbelievable to watch this happen. But right now, as we take a look, it's horrendous. He's going to be called out once they have that challenge back up. But the umpires already back at it. Guys, let's jump right into it. We got some day Major League Baseball here, and we'll start with the first game right now. Philadelphia Phillies up 3-0 after a slight rain delay in the top of the 3rd inning with 1 out. There's about to be 2 outs. Yes, there is. 2 outs now. Easily seen. No challenge should have been needed in that one. Looking at the card and updating some numbers, I'm just going to go right off with FanDuel. Philadelphia Phillies, I don't know if you want to jump in on the money line, minus 970 with that sensational bullpen. I advise not, but you do have a run line of plus 3.5 on the Giants at minus 145. But the numbers I'm interested in right now, the away total runs here, I'm going to start with you first, Kyle. 2 for the Giants here. You got 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and that Phillies bullpen waiting. That's not a bad number.
It's not a bad number, and I sort of liked the Giants coming in. Now, DeSclafani, he stinks and he's terrible, but there's some bats here. Did Eflin come back to pitch for?
Yes, he is.
Yes,
he's in.
yes.
Yep.
Okay, or Eflin, whatever. I get all the damn names wrong. But, there's some left-handed bats. Or no Brandon Belt today, obviously, but Crawford, Dickerson, Yastrzemski, Listell at the top of the order. 2 runs. It's not the greatest weather, and they're not the greatest lineup. The Giants are sneaky right now, 11-6, sitting in 2nd place in the NL West. I think they can get a couple runs. So that if I'm going to do something here, it's going to be one of those underdog type plays. Obviously, I'm not taking minus 970 on the Phillies. Who the hell would ever make that bet? So for me, give me a little bit of that run action on the Giants.
Question always comes in here, Jason, when we're looking at this game live, when to jump in on a low line, because there is some juice on this. The team total on the away team, obviously the San Francisco Giants, is only sitting at 2, but it's minus 138. I don't know if we're going to see a 1.5, and if that maybe pops its head up in the 7th inning. So probably if you're looking to jump in with 2 outs in the 3rd, I would wait one more because I doubt you're going to mount a comeback in this game. When would you look to jump in? And also, let's flip it over to the other side. Philadelphia Phillies with a 3-run home run from Mickey Moniak. Unbelievable. Their team total sitting at 5.5, minus 130. Any looks in this Phillies game?
Well, you destroyed Moniak earlier this year, and coming through the last 2 days there for the Phillies, which is pretty impressive. But if you want to look at when to go in live with the starting pitcher, if you go on ESPN, you can see the starting pitcher's stats. First time facing the order, second time facing the order. Eflin, the second time facing the order, is actually his worst. Teams are hitting 267 last year with a 292 on base percentage. OPS way higher at 827 compared to the 604 the first time he faces the order. So now you're going to get, most likely DeSclafani gets out of this inning and you go to the 4th inning. Now you get the second time the order against Eflin, and the stats show that he's a little worse second time around the order. So that's something to look at when you're going live. Obviously, I'm not the best guy to ask live because I don't bet live. But that's something that you can use to your advantage when trying to bet live.
Yeah, I'm going to wait on this because now you can see it drop down as Eflin just got a strikeout. Over 2 is minus 122, so 2 gets you a push. And keep in mind, again, 4th inning, 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning, 8th inning, 9th inning. That's 6 full at-bats here against the Philadelphia Phillies starter in Eflin, who's a good pitcher, but then you can get on that creaky bullpen. It might be worth it to jump. I don't know if we can maybe wait one more inning and get that around that minus maybe 105 number, Chelsea. Looking at this game between the Phillies and the Giants, it's always interesting to see after a rain delay. Obviously, the starter did come back in. The Phillies have that creaky bullpen. If you're looking at maybe a live play, you can get the Giants at plus 590, which is a monster price. But again, the Phillies are down by 3 runs. But that run line is not a bad option. Plus 3.5 right now for the Giants at minus 120. The game ends right now. You're a winner on that. And if the Giants are able to mount a comeback, you're sitting with 3.5. The total also, Chelsea, in this game right now live is at 8. Any looks in this Philadelphia Phillies San Francisco Giants game now that it's underway?
Weird games like this that have some kind of rain delay or weather delay or anything like that are usually games I stay away from just because they're kind of wonky. You don't know how long the starter is going to go. You don't know how that arm's feeling after he had to wait for a little bit. The only thing I would look at here is the live total on DraftKings. It's 8.5. And I think there's some value there. The odds just switched to minus 125 to the under. The over was juiced about 30 seconds ago. But I think I kind of like that a little bit better just because the Phillies are the home team. So that's one less, half inning they get to bat. And I just, with the weather it's been, I just don't see them scoring a whole lot of runs, but definitely a stay away game for me. Too many factors that are not in my control and too many wonky things going on.
No, you're exactly. If Moniak is hitting home runs, this game might be a stay-away game because, as we know, Mickey Moniak, if he hits home runs in his next 7 plate appearances, he might be at the Mendoza line. Long way to go, but that was certainly shocking to see that happen here. Bryce Harper's going to lead off the next inning. He's been absolutely locked in. Dude's hitting almost 400 now, it seems like. But nobody around the Phillies is really helping him out. We'll see how it goes. Last night looked like an easy victory for the Phillies. Dropped right off the table with some dreadful bullpen action. Once you lose Alvarado, once you lose Archie Bradley, you're basically last year's bullpen again, and we saw how that worked out. But a long way to go. I'm interested in this San Francisco Giants team total, which now sits at 2, minus 120. Maybe wait one more time through the lineup to see if we can get a more advantageous number. Giants are going to be able to score in this game. I just want to see if they can actually get to 3 runs or if I can get a price that makes it a little bit better on my side to get that 2 number, which I do think is low. Let's keep moving through some of these games that they are live. The Baltimore Orioles and the Miami Marlins scored a lot of runs yesterday, and you know what? They haven't scored yet in this game. A live total of 3, Kyle. Are we jumping in on anything in this game? Amazing.
Yeah, any low total when it involves my Miami Marlins, absolutely. I love the Marlins. They're a sneaky good young team. As long as Lewis Brinson's not up when they need a hit, you just don't want that guy up because he's going to strike out pretty much every single at bat. I know when I saw him on base yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, Lewis Brinson's on base. Look at that. But no, the Marlins, I think they can get it done here. Let's get to those bullpens. Neither one of these teams have these outstanding, dominant bullpens, both near the bottom half here, kind of middle of the pack. Baltimore hasn't been terrible, 3.55, Miami 4.02. The Marlins can score runs. They can do it in bunches. So I over 3 runs. I mean, come on. We still have 4 more innings. We're talking 8 more at bats potentially, and maybe they go to extras. Maybe it's a 1-1 game. We're a tie game right now, 1-1, 2-2. You get there at 2-2. So yeah, I think the over makes a ton of sense on this, and I like the Marlins coming in. So if you're like, hey, I need to live bet this game right now, I lean the Marlins. I like them coming into the game, and I do like that over 3.
Yeah, the Marlins are actually minus 174 right now, so pretty expensive. But it looks like you have a first and a third, but there is 2 outs in the inning, so maybe you're buying at an ultra number. But also, let's look at the away numbers here. The team totals are out right now, and this is a great time to jump in. If you think you're going to get a base hit by the Marlins, now is your time. Their total is over 2 plus 112. So a base hit gets your run, and then you're sitting at 1 more run, and you still have that plus money number. Now, flipping it over to the opposite on the Baltimore Orioles here, Jason, the total is 1 live for the Orioles. That's minus 136. So you're looking at 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. If you get 1 run, it's a push in your back pocket with a free roll over some innings. That may be worth a jump in here for us. What are you thinking?
It looks like both of these offenses forgot how to score with runners in scoring position compared to yesterday where we saw a ton of runs, especially in the first inning. A little different in this game. Obviously, I think both teams can score a run or 2 in this game. Hoping the Marlins could tack on a run. I did like Marlins in the first 5. Would have taken the money line. So I'm kind of confused at how they don't have a run against Bradley Zimmerman. Or Bruce Zimmerman, who has less than 7 strikeouts per 9 innings and allows 2.25 home runs per 9 innings. So I expect the Marlins to score a couple runs more than the Orioles, but I mean that's why you're seeing the Orioles at 1. Both teams should be able to score a run here, but at this point it looks like both offenses are really struggling.
Yeah, it's a spiked line right now, Chelsea. We're looking at the Baltimore Orioles here and the Miami Marlins. The over is 3, but it's minus 174. That has a lot to do with guys on first and third with 2 outs. So if they get out of this inning, being the Baltimore Orioles, you might get a depressed line where you're looking at maybe 2.5s or 3s. Then you can factor on getting to those bullpens and maybe even getting the bonus of extra innings. Any looks, Chelsea, from you on this Baltimore Orioles-Miami Marlins game? No score here in the bottom of the 5th.
Right. I'm already on the Marlins first 5, so I think I'm going to wait that one out. Hopefully, I'm not on a delay because it looks like we got 2 runners on still with 2 outs, so I'm kind of crossing my fingers on that one. Yep. But nothing else for me. I'm trying to be more selective and not just fire away on things just off gut feeling.
We have to fire away on gut feelings on this show.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that we're going to teach you, Chelsea, is everything said on camera is absolutely official, whether you want it or not. So
Donnie will bully you if you don't. He will bully you into submission, and you will eventually do it. That is just how it works. You just let it happen.
Exactly. Watching here, looks like we have a just foul ball down the line, which would have been a double, would have scored 2 runs here with, I believe, Aguiar is at the plate. So we'll watch some of these games come in. Philadelphia Phillies now in the bottom of the 3rd inning, 1 out with 1 runner on. Brad Miller is up. And also, if you're looking to dip in on the San Francisco Giants, some of the old, things that usually work, let this game get out of control. Let the Phillies get a 5 or 6 to nothing, and then you're not throwing your best bullpen guys. When we talk about the Phillies, is there really a best bullpen guy left out there? Hector Neris is the closer, so even he's not going to appear in this game. But again, yes, you can hear Kyle in the background say, oof, and he is exactly correct. So we'll watch these as they come in. Still, let's see, another foul ball. So you got 2 strikes, 2 men on, 2 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. I'm watching this game because if you wanted to jump in now and figure he has a beat on this pitcher being Jesus Aguiar, the over is 1.5 minus 136 for the Marlins. So a base hit here would mean obviously a run, and also on top of that, still runners in scoring position where you can hit that team total with 1 swing of the bat in this bottom of the inning. But still watching as it comes in. It's now locked at FanDuel, so we're always on a little bit of a delay from the live feed, and that ball is smoked. That ball is smoked. Let's see. Off the gets into the gap. Yep, 2 runs score right there.
There we go.
2 run score. There you go, Chelsea. Bang. Look at that. You got a
Just like that.
It was
right here live. Hey,
I'm winner.
look at that. So now can I jump in? Now FanDuel's still showing 1.5 as runs, even though I think 2 runs have just scored. Let me see if I can beat this in here and cheat a little bit. Let's see. Oh, it's suspended. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
It's out of here. Nope. Good try, though. It's a good try.
In. Yep, exactly. We'll see what these lines reset at, but there's one of those advantages where if you're betting live, you saw the 3 was heavily juiced. You now got 2 runs. You figure somebody's going to score over the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. But also, if you wanted to take that gamble at over 1.5 on the Marlins, 1 swing of the bat got you covered here already. But when that opens up, we'll certainly let you guys know. Another game that is live on the card currently right now, and it is a first game of a doubleheader, 3rd inning. No runs have have scored. Pittsburgh Pirates, Detroit Tigers. Looking at the Pirates right now, sitting here, Kyle, plus 164. If we're looking on the run line, minus 1.5 for the Detroit Tigers at plus 148. Over under at 4. But again, keep in mind, only a 7-inning game, Kyle.
Yeah, it's a doubleheader game, right? None of us really like those. Although Chelsa has interesting stuff about the second game of the doubleheader. So I like kind of what she had to say about watching the first game, seeing how the bats go. Blah. That stuff. I think that stuff can be effective, but I'm not big on doubleheaders. And it's Pittsburgh and Detroit, for Christ's sake. I give the slight lean. I think Detroit's got a runner on second right now, out or two. Maybe a slight lean to Detroit. Fulmer I like a little bit more than Anderson, and I usually like. God, that's real tough for me. It's a stay away from me personally. I'd lean Pittsburgh right now. Maybe do a first 5 if you can get in on that now while Detroit has the advantage. Maybe you get a good number on Pittsburgh first 5.
Do they even have a first 5 live in game on the double?
I don't know.
Yeah, plus 280 for the Pirates and minus.
There you go, plus 280. Let's take that number. There we go. Let's throw a little something on that. I'll say that.
So I see. It'd be plus 280 probably because there's a man on second base here. In the
third. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I would take the dog in that. I would.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let them get a runner on second. Yeah, they may not score the run. You're getting a plus number now, and it's still a tie game, so why the hell not? That just kind of makes sense to me if you're doing something like that.
No, true. And the Phillies do have 2 runners on now with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third inning, 3-0. So we'll keep some tabs on that game, Jason. Looking at this Pittsburgh Pirates, Detroit Tigers game, Anderson and Fulmer on the mound. Not great weather conditions, but that's pretty much across Major League Baseball right now. Any looks here as we take the total is 4. So you have to actually get to 5 to win that. It's a little bit high for me. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I like the Pirates to begin this game. I liked them last game. Then obviously it was rained out. Now it's a shortened game. I'm still a big Pirates guy. I think the Pirates have the better offense. Of course, they haven't showed that today. No hits, it looks like. It looks like the Tigers just got their first hit from Reyes. The Pirates lineup is way better. And, Fulmer obviously is having a much better year this year, but really struggled last year. I think there's reason to say the Pirates could absolutely win this game and potentially win the first 5, but it looks like the line just changed, so might be, I don't know what happened there. It looks like it's a 3-2-4. So there's 2 guys on now, so now it's at like plus 33-3. So if you want to take the Pirates, take a little long shot, I wouldn't blame you at all.
Yeah, if you want to. Also, you're cheering for a bunt right now to probably get guys over to second and third because the only thing you care about is scoring a run, picking up that first 5. First game of the doubleheader here, Chelsea, between the Pirates and the Tigers. Again, just to reset some numbers now that we do have first and second, the Tigers minus 1.5, plus 150, which isn't a bad number here if you're figuring the Tigers scoring. Minus 215 is a money line for the game, and the over-under is still sitting at 4. So if runs come in this inning, that would be a bonus, but also that is factored into the lines. Any looks here, Chelsea, on this early game between the Pirates and the Tigers?
Yeah, it looks like they have no outs, and they've got the top of the lineup coming up for Detroit. So the only thing I would look at is Detroit minus 1.5, because I think if they can score a couple runs there, I think runs are going to be hard to come by, judging by these numbers, even though I see it just went up to 4.5. I'm not playing anything personally, but that's where I'd be headed, just because you've got the top of the lineup up for Detroit and a good scoring opportunity here.
Yep, and we'll see as it goes. As we have these games that are on live, we'll continue to update them throughout. If anybody in the chat box has any questions, comments, or sees something going on in these games with a live number, shout it out and let us know. And Akbar is in the chat box saying, something is telling about that Braves team total 3.5 today. Maybe a little segue for later on in the show as we take a look. But let's hit the card with the games that are about to come up here. Have some fun with these. Houston and Colorado, 973, 974. That's the Astros and the Rockies. If we look at the numbers between Urquidy and Gomber, the lefty, Pinnacle opened up all short, minus 127 as a favorite for Houston. That now sits at minus 134. So some leveling up here. But how about FanDuel out of New Jersey? They opened up at a 152 and then moved back down to a 136. We're still in Colorado, but check this. How many times did we see this last year? 10.5 it opens up at Colorado. You know that's going to 11.5, but today it's back down to 10. Reason being, not great weather conditions here for hitting between these two. I'll start with you first, Kyle, in this game. What are we looking at between Urquidy and Gomber?
Well, if the game is played, this game looks like there is some risk here of not being playing rain and snow. Again, I'm just the deputy. So I'll let Donnie give that official number.
Okay.
But even the games yesterday that the deputy called get postponed, they did get postponed. I do want to throw that out there. But which
They
I
count as
consider
play
a
of the
win.
days.
You got to take those small victories when you start pushing 40. You take those small victories in life. But if the game is played, I like Houston here. Let's just go over some of the advantages here against Gomer, who actually wasn't bad in his last start against the Dodgers. We relied on that horrible Rockies bullpen to, of course, get us to that Dodgers team total. But look at some of the advantages here. 39, 34, 17, 17, 28, and 11. So 7 of their projected 8 hitters here, of course not their pitcher, have an advantage. I do like Bregman. Came back yesterday. Obviously didn't do anything, put up a big goose egg. But I like Bregman today. The only guy they're really missing now from that lineup is Altuve. I think the Astros can get it done. I'm looking at a first 5 here. Minus 0.5 at minus 120. I like that. I like Urquidy just a little bit more. I don't have much love for the Rockies lineup tonight. Liquidity, whatever the hell his name is.
I love it.
I'm going to mess them up all year long. I love that. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm terrible with names, and I'm terrible at remembering people's names after I meet them. It's just one of those things. Look, there are some Rockies here with some upside. CJ Cron in the middle of that order. He hits righties a little bit better. Hampson down near the end of the order. Trevor Story, of course, much better against lefties. So the pick here, if the game is played, I would wait to make sure this game is going to be played. And if it is, make sure that you don't see something where, like Donnie talks about all the time, that you have the advantage. You're up. Houston's up 3-0. You have the first 5. It's the 4th inning, and boom, the game gets postponed. There's always that concern with the weather like this. There's a lot of weather games today. I want to throw the weather across this card like that guy threw that Bobcat this weekend. You see that video where he throws the Bob? That's what I want to do with the damn weather report today. It's just ridiculous across the league. But give me the Astros first 5 minus 120.
We should be able to trust the Houston bats, but again, it still is cold weather. We're taking a look at around first pitch at 38 degrees, and then you're going to have some rain in the forecast, like the ultimate bad moves to have if you're playing baseball. You want it to be nice weather, not cold and rainy. Jason, looking at this game between these two pitchers, do we expect runs? Because looking at the numbers, people aren't betting for runs. 10.5 now down to 10 as a total.
No, I don't expect runs at all. I'm actually on the under 5.5 in the first 5 innings. Again, the Rockies offense has really struggled. Obviously, the conditions aren't really great. The wind is blowing in. There's a lot of factors. Both pitchers have FIPs below 4. Gomber, his last outing was actually not too bad. If he can just limit the walks, I think things will be all right. So I'm actually on the under 5.5 in the first 5. I do agree the Astros should be able to win that first 5, score a couple runs, but not enough for the to get 6 runs. So I'm on the under 5.5 first 5 at minus 110. That's official for me.
Yeah, Astros should be able to win this game, in my opinion, here. As we take a look, Chelsea, some of the guys today versus lefties on this early season, some of them have as many as 30 at-bats, and they've done quite well. Gomber, the lefty, Brantley, 394 weighted on base average, Correa, 383, Bregman, 436, Gurriel, 465, and Diaz, 510. Are we seeing runs in this game, or do you have a side that you're taking a look at here between the Astros and the Rockies?
All right, so everyone always asks for the Nerfies, the no-run first inning.
Let's get it.
I grabbed this one for plus 128. I think that's a pretty good value for a game that's looking like bad weather. These pitchers, aren't, the greatest of pitchers, but sometimes it's rolling the dice in the first inning, and I think this is a good shot for it, for guys maybe to start off a little cold. And then also, I like the full game under 10.5. I grabbed it this morning. It's already went down to 10. As you mentioned, I think the weather is a factor here. Dusty Baker was talking about it in the write-up from last night's game. Bless his heart. I just want to give him a hug all the time. He looks so cute. Bless his heart. He was talking about how cold it was and how the batters just didn't like it. And both of these pitchers, I think, have a chance of not blowing up, because that's what you need for the total to stay under 10.5. You don't have to be that good. And Austin Gomer was actually pretty good against the Dodgers lineup, a really good Dodgers lineup, only allowing 3 runs over 6 innings of work. And then Urquidy, wow, I can't say that either, has not been the blow-up type guy. He's only allowed 2 runs in 2 of his starts and only 4 in his other ones, so he's not prone to blow-ups. And then finally, for degenerates only, I do have a hit parlay in this one, Correa and Michael Brantley for minus, I think, 115. So that's for degenerates only.
All right, plays and plays and plays. And by the way, always known, if Dusty Baker is the manager of your team, when you're round third, watch out for his kid crossing the plate. So always one of those PSAs to watch out for here. We'll keep it moving here as we go down the list. I do think that they're going to be able to win that game, being Houston from their side. Just need a decent pitching performance. I think the bats, even though it's cold weather, can put some runs across the plate in Colorado. We'll see how it plays out. 961, 962, Minnesota and Oakland, Maeda and Montas. By the way, we laughed at, but we did some shows before the season. Oakland's going to win this division. Oakland's going to win this division in a week and a half. I'm like, erase those tapes. That might be the worst call I've ever had. Oakland streaking right now as we take on Minnesota, sweeping the doubleheader yesterday. Maeda versus Montas today, and a cheap number. But how about this? We opened up as favorites towards the Minnesota Twins offshore at Pinnacle at minus 116, FanDuel minus 112. They flipped over opposite, minus 15s, minus 120s, now showing for the home team, Oakland. And Kyle, I agree with that line movement.
Yeah, me too. I like the A's today. Now, look, it's not the greatest match. I prefer a lefty on the mound when taking that A's lineup, but you're right, 10 straight wins. I mean, they had 19 runs through 8 games. Now they're averaging nearly 6 runs a game. They're winning by nearly 3 runs a game. Everything has come together here. Maeda is not a terrible pitcher, so this isn't some can that they're up against today. But look, we still have some nice little advantages here. Chapman, Andrews, Olsen, Mitch Moreland, assuming he hits in the middle of the lineup today. So I like the A's. And again, we've talked about all the bad weather today. We got nice weather out in Oakland. We got some hitting weather. You're seeing a team total of 3.5 at minus 120. I love it. I like the A's team total today. I think they get over that 3.5. And if I'm going to take a team total today, which we love to do, it's certainly not going to be in one of these damn blizzard games that's 35 degrees. I made that mistake yesterday. That's not happening again. We're going out to the damn warm weather. We're going to the West Coast. I think the A's get it done. I like their team total. And I'm looking at first 5 minus 0.5 of plus 130. Montas has some nice advantages here. There's not a lot of Twins that I'm really in love with as I just look at their lineup today. So I'm like, hey, am I missing something here? I'm getting a plus number the first 5. I think Montas and Maeda pretty evenly matched. Not a ton of advantages here. Donaldson a little bit here. He's much better actually against righties and lefties. At the top of the order, Arias, leadoff guy, and maybe Jake Cave. Other than that, it's a whole lot of guys, including Polanco, who just stink against right-handed pitching. So give me the A's first 5 plus 130 and their team total over 3.5 minus 120. I like both of those in this game.
Yeah, Jason, riding the hot team, you can't really go wrong. Specifically, we're not laying those Dodgers prices of minus 250 daily. You're getting a cheap number at minus 120, and also some big-time line movement. So if you got in early enough, maybe even having the Oakland Athletics at a plus number. Real quick, just to get some updates here, Detroit did score a run to take the 1-0 lead. Miami tacked another one on 3-0 here as they shifted now into the 6th inning. And just keeping an eye on the Philadelphia Phillies here and the San Francisco Giants, 3-0 Phillies. But this game now in the top of the 4th inning with 1 out, and taking a look at the away total runs in this game, which obviously is in the Giants, with a runner on over 2 minus 104. We'll see if that creeps down even lower and find more value, because I'm going to wait this out. I don't want San Francisco to score this inning. I want to start popping up some of those 1.5. So 2 runs will be enough to get it for me. Jason, looking at this game in the afternoon, which gets underway in roughly 30 minutes. Any looks here between Minnesota and Oakland?
Yeah, I think we're going to see an under game. I think that both pitchers should do well in this one. And, of course, this is like the one game where the weather is actually good and the ball could potentially fly a little bit more. But I do like both pitchers here. I think really, if you watch the Athletics against righties, they've struggled swinging through a lot of balls. And could be a lot of strikeouts. Could be a great day for Maeda and just the Twins overall. But, again, I like both pitchers here. I think they both do damage, potentially go under in the first 5. But then again, like, the weather's good, the lineups are good. I think the pitching matchups are better. But, I mean, yeah, it's rough. So I'm not taking anything. But with that said, I do think the Twins have a chance to win this game.
Taking a look in the chat box, Joe Rich Ramirez, he took the first 5 team total over 1.5 with the Athletics. A little bit more juice than he would like, but took a shot with it. I agree, man. Pick up 2 runs over the first 5 innings. Don't have to worry about any bullpen matchups coming in after that. But you know what we're not worried about? Close to 300 people watching live on the show. And over the last 2 days, over 100 people actually hit that subscribe button for us at sportsbookreview.com. Thank you guys for doing that. Turn those notification buttons on so we talk Major League Baseball. You can come in the chat box and say hello. Chelsea, a little afternoon action here between the Twins and the Athletics. What are we looking at here today?
Yeah, I don't think you overthink this one too much. I think you play the hot team, and the hot team is the A's. As you mentioned, they've won 10 games in a row, and over that span, in the last 7 days, they lead the league with staff ERA, the best ERA in the bigs, with a 1.08 ERA, and top 5 in OPS when it comes to the sticks. The A's were so streaky all last season. It looks like this is the same case this year. When they're hot, they're hot. When they're cold, and I like them to keep rolling here. Don't overthink it. Play the A's.
No, and I agree with that. If you see the graphic below, the Oakland, very athletic team right there. So I do appreciate that. The Athletics rolling along with no runs here, by the way, for the San Francisco Giants. And now we take a look, and I'm ready to jump in because now we're saying on FanDuel, the team total for the San Francisco Giants over 1.5 minus 115. Big D is in on that one right now. So give me just a moment as I lock this one in here. Bang! So we are in here with FanDuel. Over 1.5. Give me 2 runs. We'll win. You wanted to get off that 2 number. Got what I needed. We'll get some bullpen work. See if San Francisco can get involved in that one. Let's keep moving here down the list as we go today. Next game up, Texas and the Angels. That's Foltynewicz versus Quintana, the lefty on the mound today. Opened up as a pinnacle favorite towards the Angels. 157, now sitting at 173. FanDuel opens up at 168, now sitting at 180. Game is at 9 across the board with the total. Kyle, I'll start with you first in this game today. Are we looking at runs from the Angels? I can't trust Foltynewicz. I mean, I faded him before and done very well. Are we fading him again here today?
It's always a fade of Fulton Fadich. Okay, that's Fulton Fadich. That's what we're calling him. You're always fading this guy. He's absolutely terrible. And let's just look at this Angels lineup that's already been announced today. 3%, 27%, 26, 12, 21, 25, and 24%. The only player without an advantage that's going to be hitting for them tonight is Justin Upton, and it seems like he doesn't have an advantage against anybody lately. Actually, he hit a home run the other day. But even Schebler has faced Foltynewicz 9 times in his career. He's got 2 hits. Both those hits were home runs. Scott Schebler, for Christ's sakes. Of course, you know Scotty Schebler very, very well, being a Phillies fan there. So, I like the Angels. The plays the Angels today. Let me look at the first 5 number here. First 5 minus a half, minus 120. So you don't have to take the juiced up money line of, where we at 170, 200, somewhere in that range. So I'll take that Angels first 5. Neither pitcher very good. Both these teams can score runs. This game this is one of the better weather games as well. You're looking at a total of 9. It's a big number, but if you're looking to bet an over today, this would be one of the games I would circle if you love betting overs. A lot of potential for an over here. Don't like either pitcher in DFS. But I love me some Angels bats, and I even got a little home run prop on Jared Walsh today, hitting from the left side off of Fulton Fadich. So give me the Angels, give me that first 5 minus 120.
I agree with that because you take a look at Foltynewicz, 32 at bats this year versus left-handed batters. A 511 weighted on base average and an ISO of 593. So that puts them right in that square hole with Ohtani, 316 ISO, Walsh 364, and Schebler. Now, granted, it's 2 at bats this year, but hey, it's 500 on the ISO numbers. We'll use that. Looking at this game, Jason, any thoughts here, or is this a runaway for the Angels, or maybe one of those underdog spots where you're looking Rangers?
When you look at both of these pitchers, you could just blindly say, yeah, this is going over. Both pitchers walking over 4 batters per 9 innings. The strikeouts are high for both of them, though. So if they're able to limit the walks, things work out a little bit better. Quintana does have, he's able to get ground balls at 52.4%. But remember, he hasn't started in over a week now since his last start, which was pathetic, like his previous outing before that as well. So both pitchers have really struggled. Folty did have one good game this year. I think it was against the Padres where he allowed 1 run. So he's capable and probably is the better pitcher when you look at both these two in terms of potential. But again, over 8.5 seems like the play. And obviously, like I said, Folty allowing 3.72 home runs per 9 innings. So you got Walsh, Trout, any of those guys in the middle of the lineup that can definitely do damage and hit home runs in this game. So again, I agree, over 8.5 is probably the play. And I would not pick a side because either one of these pitchers or both pitchers could explode in this one.
Weather conditions out in Anaheim, Chelsea, 66 degrees at first pitch, blowing out the dead center field about 11 miles an hour. And also taking a look at the umpire, Jordan Baker, today. His career number is 55% towards the over. What are we looking at today from your perspective between this game with the Rangers and the Angels?
Yeah, initial thoughts would be over just looking at the pitching matchup here. I know everybody's crashing on Folty, But he does have good stuff. At one point, I think he was an all-star for the Braves, or looking like it. So he does have good stuff in there. And if we've seen what happens in baseball, it seems like the rule of the averages. We've seen some of these bad pitchers have good ones. We saw Patrick Corbin bounce back. We saw even Madison Bumgarner was decent, I think, in his last start. So these guys are bound to have good ones here and there against this Angels lineup. However, I think is a tough task. I know everybody's going to make fun of me for this, but I'm on another hit parlay. Just because I think those are good ones to look at when you have a high total on the board. If you think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for hits, Jared Walsh and David Fletcher. I'm combining those two just because those guys have been really hot. They're not the big name of Mike Trout, but David Fletcher, he's gotten a hit in 6 of his last 7 games, and then Jared Walsh is on fire, hitting .333 this season. You combine those both up, it's -118. That's where I'm playing that one.
There we go. We like it. Picks, and more picks. Now let's spin it around to the rest of the Major League Baseball odds board, and we'll start right at 410, which is a good one here. And I got a McDonald's money alert on this game, which I will give in just a few moments. 9:55, 9:56, Milwaukee and San Diego. Check out this number. Pinnacle opens up all short, -193 as a favorite towards Dinelson Lamet of the Padres. Now sits at 190. FanDuel out of New Jersey, now sitting at -210. Hauser's on the mound from Milwaukee. Over-under 7.5 across the board. Kyle, what are you looking at?
I'm so excited that the Karate Kid is finally back. I love Danielson. That's what I call him, is Danielson. He'll forever be the Karate Kid, Danielson Lamet. And look, this guy does have good stuff, and I really like him. But how much is he going to pitch today? And being his first start of the year, they're bringing him back from injury, etc. So I don't really know how much I'm going to get. Both these teams have very good bullpens. Obviously, Milwaukee's bullpen hasn't performed to that elite status, but we know they have the arms to be elite. And the Padres, second best bullpen ERA in the major leagues so far early in the season. Third best now, just behind Toronto and the Yankees. So this game makes me a little bit nervous. I do like Danielson a little bit more than Hauser. A slight lean to the Padres, but nothing I'm completely in love with right here. If anything, I would probably, if you're looking at the Brewers, just because of the advantage, the Brewers have been pretty good, and you're getting a plus number in the first 5 here. You're getting a plus 160 money line and plus a half a run. So even if they're tied, you're getting plus 110. So that might be a look here with the Brewers, because I can think of worse teams taking plus money on than the Milwaukee Brewers.
No, we will circle back. I did miss that St. Louis Washington game, which we'll get back to in just a few moments here. But we got plenty of time to see what's what. Continuing with this game, Milwaukee and San Diego. Jason, taking a look. I like this game, not full game. I like this first 5 innings. Was able to get a successful one yesterday with the Diamondbacks. Team total over 1.5 in the first 5. I'm going to jump back into that today. I like San Diego, but I like them over the first 5 innings versus Hauser. We're taking a look at some of the books out there. Not everybody can bet these, but I was able to get San Diego's team total first 5 over 2 -120. I think they can get the 3 runs, but the reason why I didn't go full game, I want nothing to do with the bullpen of the Milwaukee Brewers. If Williams and Hader come in, you're not scoring runs, or typically the runs are going to be hard to come by at that point. So if you're going to hit a team total and take it over 4, you're probably going to get those 4 runs or close to those 4 runs over the first 5 innings. So little McDonald's money, you want some chicken nuggets, you want a Big Mac, you want to try the new chicken sandwich, this is your game to do it. I'm going to take San Diego's team total over the 2 in the first 5. Jason, what are you looking at in this game?
Well, anyway, I did put a little bit of money on the Pirates in the first 5 innings at plus 333. It's now 2-1. The Pirates are now winning.
There we go.
So we'll see what happens. Put some McDonald's money on there, and obviously still plenty of time to go.
Plus 333. That's Wendy's, dude. That's Wendy's. A little more expensive. You're getting the bacon.
I thought they had the 4 for 4, so I thought that was cheap.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, I do agree with the Padres. I think the Padres finally look good in this game offensively. Again, we talk about this all the time. They're really good at working walks. They're really good at limiting strikeouts. And they got a solid lineup that has struggled, obviously, had to face Burns. Now they get Hauser, a guy that really isn't a big strikeout threat, and walks are near 4 per 9. So I agree. I think the Padres get their team total. I saw it even at over 3.5 for -160 if you want to pay the juice. And, of course, Padres -0.5 in the first 5 at -120. I agree with both of them. I think the Padres end up winning this game.
We are all Padres up here, Chelsea. Are you all Milwaukee'd up? Let us know what you think about this game.
Yeah, I think in baseball, if you track units, you need to take a chance on underdogs sometimes. And I think this is a good spot. I got Milwaukee at plus 170. I think that's too good of a price to pass on this Milwaukee team. especially against Lamet, who, like we've said, we don't know how much we're going to see from him being his first start back. And then you've got the Brewers, who offensively, I wouldn't call them juggernauts, but they do have 6 lefties in the lineup tonight against a righty, so it should be a good matchup. I know the price is probably so high just because Tatis and Machado were not in the lineup last night. But also, we didn't see Hader last night, so he should be fresh if the game is close going into the later innings for Milwaukee. And plus, they've got some guys that are hot with the sticks that you probably wouldn't think of. Billy McKinney was an absolute electric factory last night. Not only did he hit a home run, he had an amazing catch in left field. Google it if you can. It was really fun to watch. So I think the team with a little momentum riding into this one after a win last night, I'll take a chance on the Brewers.
There you go. So, look, we like the both ways to take a look at some of these games. And, hey, the Brewers win 6-5. I'm all good with that. As long as I get those 5 runs within the first 5 innings, we can cash. And, by the way, keeping an eye on my over 1.5 for the Giants. It's the 5th inning, 1st and 3rd, nobody out, going against Zach Eflin. So, hopefully they can punch across a run here, maybe even hit that live team total and get some action. Brandon Crawford at the plate, by the way. Let's keep going as we check some things out. And, yes, if you watch me in these videos, I am rooting on some of these live wagers. Just to keep an update, Pittsburgh now at the lead, 2-1 over Detroit. Miami 3-0. And I'm watching the Houston Astros bat in the first inning. It's snowing. It is a snowstorm, and they're playing this game. So good luck.
Nerfy. Here we go.
Perfect. So we'll watch it. That one comes in. But it is actually like football. Like it is a snowstorm that you will go out and play. It's amazing. Oh, well. Let's keep it. Look, by the way, let's backtrack here. As you see around the MLB odds up there, yes, sometimes I'm dyslexic. Cardinals, Nationals. Let's hit it now. Martinez and Scherzer opened up at Pinnacle -180. That's now -155. FanDuel opened up at 168. That's now 164. We're not believing in Max. Total of 7.5. Kyle, are we believing in Max today? Doesn't seem like the better.
Yeah, I mean, I just looked at this and I look at the first 5 innings and I'm like, wait, Carlos Martinez against Max Scherzer in the first 5? Sign me up. First 5 -0.5 run, -125. So all the Nationals have to do is score 1 run. I think Scherzer can blank the St. Louis lineup through the first 5 innings. Just looking at it today, a couple guys have a little bit of advantage. Paul Goldschmidt's 3 for 28 lifetime off of Scherzer. Nolan Arenado 1 for 7. The only guys who really have done anything, Tommy Edman. Are we really concerned about Tommy Edman going yard here off Scherzer? Not really. So I think you're getting a nice price here, -125, first 5, -0.5 run. Let's just go over the last 5 starts for Carlos Martinez in terms of fantasy points against Washington. Here's the numbers: 3, 9, 1, 4, and 4. What does that tell you? He is getting roped by the Nationals. They have a weighted 3-year OPS advantage here of 984 off of Martinez. Flip that over to Max Scherzer. It's down at 578 in his last 5, 67, 49, 40, 38, and 64. The numbers don't lie. It's Washington or bust here. I'll take him in the first 5 when I know Scherzer's going to be on the mound.
Mad Max on the mound, and hold on here. Get down. Base hit for San Francisco. Oh my! Now see, this is what gets
Donnie rooting against his Phillies.
Yeah, I'm not even going into what actually just happened in that. So we'll keep moving. Jason, Max Scherzer on the mound today. Are we seeing value here? Because I don't even want to talk about base running etiquette here between the San Francisco Giants and the Phillies. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle 100%. I'm on the Nationals -0.5 in the first 5 innings as well. Got it at -110. I've been against Carlos Martinez throughout the season so far, and going to continue that. Obviously, Scherzer on the mound looks really good in his last start. Really struggled versus the Braves, allowed like 4 home run solo shots, and since then he's really kind of getting back into being the Max Scherzer that we're used to seeing. Expect him to pitch really well, and looking at this Nationals lineup, it's not good. Obviously, Soto out. Things are tough right now for the Nationals, but their offense, you go down that list, there are a bunch of veteran guys that have been there before, guys that can hit the ball, guys that have played and have been in the middle of the lineup and whatnot. I still like this lineup. I still think that they're capable, especially against Martinez. So yeah, I think the Nationals will be able to score a run or 2 as well. So Nationals -0.5 in the first 5. I'm on that. It's official against the Cardinals here.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be a lot on Mad Max's back, and also you're trying to factor in maybe a fade of Carlos Martinez because that lineup is terrible for the Nationals. We'll see if they do get some runs in this one, but again, keeping an eye, and I'll explain it to you now that I calmed down a little bit. First and third, 1 out, a base hit to right field. It wasn't even close to being a catch, but yet the Rumor Flores goes halfway and runs back to first base, and Bryce Harper just flips it to second base, and it's an out. So instead of having a guy on third base and 1 out, you now have 2 outs and a strikeout. But I was able to get 1 run to cross the plate, but that should have been cashed in right there. Chelsea, talking about this game right now, and by the way, Trevor Story with an electric play at shortstop. Now 2 outs, nobody on in the top of the first inning between the Houston Astros and the Rockies, so that now looks good. What are we looking at between Mad Max today down in Washington? Getting value on him, or is this a fade of Max in that offense for the Nationals?
I just feel like you never get value on Max Scherzer. The name is too big, the resume is too good, and this is a stay away game for me. Just because Max Scherzer is good as he is, we've seen him give up the long ball, and that can be the difference in some of these games, especially, the first 5. One bad pitch gets away from you, and there goes your bet. I just don't see any value with Scherzer here. We do know he's a former Mizzou Tiger, going against St. Louis Cardinals here, 2-6 against the Cardinals lifetime. So something to note there. Obviously, it's not always tied to how the pitcher does. It's more about the team. But I just don't see any value there. It's a stay away game for me.
There you go. So we'll keep moving here. We doubled back to check out that St. Louis-Washington game. We'll keep it moving forward. Already covered Milwaukee and San Diego. Let's keep going by time as we head to the Bronx. The Atlanta Braves and the New York Yankees. Kluber on the mound, which, hey, if it was a couple years ago, whoa, Kluber's on the mound, and he's only minus 134. Yeah, there's a good reason for that. 975, 976. Weather conditions in the Bronx, not terrible, but not great. The game's going to be in the 40s, but the wind will be blowing out. No Acuna Jr. once again for Atlanta, which they really struggled yesterday. I was able to hit a late run line wager on the Yankees as they won 3-1. Break out the bats for the Yankees. They scored 3. Oh, my goodness. They used to score 3 in their sleep, but now it seems like pulling teeth. We'll see if they get some runs today. This over-under did drop once again. At 9, it opened up. Now sitting at 8.5. Favorite of Kluber, 134. Some of the New Jersey books as high as 145 with that Yankee tax. Kyle, will come to you first in this game. Are we looking at runs? Are we looking at fading Kluber? Are the Yankees finally getting it together at the plate? What's your look on this game?
As I looked through all the numbers, the Braves stood out to me, and I'm looking at a team total. It's juiced a little bit over 3.5, minus 145. But if you look at this weighted 3-year OPS, Kluber versus the lineup tonight against the Braves without Acuna, it's still 1066. Flip that over. Now, Ian Anderson, he's no Randy Johnson, of course. He's no, Roger Clemens. But it's only 622. I trust the Braves bats even without Acuna more than I trust the Yankees right now. When I look at the hitters here, even without Acuna, there's a lot of advantages to be had for these Atlanta hitters. Swanson, Freeman, Albies, Sandoval, even Austin Riley near the end of the order. Guillermo Heredia, 59%. So it's 59, 31, 31, 45, 7, and 30. I love the Atlanta bats today. I'm going to take that team total over 3.5 at minus 145. I think that even though it's a little bit colder, we got some wind blowing out, and I'm getting a plus money first 5 money line of plus 115. So if they're ahead by anything, it's not tied. Plus 115 on the money line for Atlanta. Kluber hasn't looked great. I like the Braves in this one.
Over 300 people watching live here. And I'm getting a little bit geeky here because a lot of weather chatter in the chat box really makes my day. And yes, to just go over the Yankees and the Braves, it's going to clear out. And somebody very astute, that rain coming through Philadelphia, going through New York, by the time the game actually has its first pitch, shouldn't have any issues whatsoever. 50 degrees, but also this is a small ballpark, 18 miles an hour blowing dead out. That could be a big deal here as we take a look at this game. Will runs come in? Are we looking at a dog, Jason? What are we doing here in the Bronx?
Yeah, I think the Braves are the better option here with Anderson on the mound. If he's able to limit the walks, he'd be really an ace pitcher. We'd be talking about him a little bit more. He looked fantastic last year. Playoffs was terrific. Now coming back to this season, he's a great pitcher. He's able to get 51.7% ground balls, LOB percentage near around 75%. So he's a terrific pitcher, and obviously Kluber, his better days are behind him. His strikeouts will be high. His walks are also high. Obviously, his batting average of balls in play in the first 4 starts of the season, it's 433. So that's going to regress a little bit. So he will be better than what he showed so far. But I still think the Braves are the better team, and I would take them as an underdog, slight underdog on the road.
Yep, I like the team total. Bet MGM this morning, 3.5, minus 140 on that line. It's legitimate that they get 4 runs. You're going to get a full 9 at-bats, as we know. Obviously, the wind blowing out. It's not a lot of runs, but you don't have a lot of pop in that offense. But you do have Adrianza leading off here in ISO power number versus righties this year. 455 with a weighted on-base average of 410. So the first 2 batters, Adrianza and Freeman, might be able to do some damage. And also Pablo Sandoval in the lineup, 14 at-bats versus righties this year, an 818 ISO and a 629 weighted on-base average. So maybe the Fat Panda could do some damage. Up in the Bronx, Chelsea, any looks between the Braves and the Yankees from your side?
Yeah, I'm looking at an Ian Anderson strikeout prop. I believe it's 5.5. I've already got it locked in. He's gotten this in all 3 of his games so far this season. And if you remember, his big league debut was against the Yankees and Garrett Cole. And he was dazzling in that one. I think he's going to have some good memories here. And let's take him over his strikeout prop of 5.5 strikeouts.
There you go. And the big 3 in the middle, as I like to call them here, looking at the strikeout numbers, Aaron Judge versus righties this year strikes out 24% of the time. Brett Gardner, 28% of the time. And Giancarlo Stanton, the $350 million man, he only strikes out 43% of the time when facing righties. So money well spent in the Bronx. We'll see how that one turns out, but a lot of strikeouts in that lineup. Keeping you updated here, Chelsea, on your wager. And there is a runner on, nobody out in the bottom of the first inning with Colorado. We'll check that one as it winds in. And also, now you got some stress. Now you got the sweat. This is exactly what we like. You need a double play ball, maybe exhale, but we will keep an eye on that one. Let's keep moving forward here. Arizona and Cincinnati. This game is going to start at 6:40, but also keep in mind, before this game, you're going to have the finish of the first game, so maybe push back a little bit. That's going to be Kelly versus Malley on the mound. Heavy favorite for the Reds, minus 166 at Pinnacle, minus 176 at FanDuel. Over-under opened up at 8.5. That now drops down to 7.5, Kyle, as we take a look here. 46 degrees, but the wind is blowing out at Great American Ballpark. What are we looking at here?
It's a tough one. I wanted to go Molly earlier in DFS, but they gave us a terrible price. So there's absolutely no value there. I'm not big on him. Of course, it is the Arizona lineup, which got it done yesterday. I think I have a slight lean here to Cincinnati. When I look at the first 5 number, I'm getting minus 115 up 0.5. I think that's probably the way I would go here. Look, the Reds have one of the better offenses in the league, and Arizona doesn't. I don't like either pitcher all that much today. But I like that Reds lineup when I look through advantages across the board. Suarez, Votto, Senzel, India, up and down there, even Tucker Barnhart at the end of the order. So I like the Reds today. That first 5 makes a lot of sense to me. Their team total, I haven't looked at it, but I would imagine it's going to be in that 4.5 range. Yeah, it's at 4.5 even money. It's a little high for me. I think you can get some better spots today. I'm not going to try to force it with the 4.5. I'll take the Reds first 5, minus 115.
All right, Kelly Malley on the mound today in Cincinnati. We're looking at some runs coming back because yesterday you saw the pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks really hold down the lineup for the Reds, but the Reds end up tacking on once they got to the bullpen, and that was Zach Allen on the mound yesterday versus Kelly. Maybe you think it opens up a little bit, but I don't think Castellanos and obviously Moustakas are back in the lineup just yet. So a little bit shorthanded, but they've been able to do some damage here, Jason.
I still think there's probably value on the Diamondbacks at plus 155 in the full game. So, yeah, I mean, look, both offenses can definitely do damage against these pitchers. The Reds obviously shorthanded, don't have 2 premier bats in their lineup. If Kelly's able to limit home runs, he'll be fine. You know, he doesn't really walk too many batters. I think there's potential there for the Diamondbacks to win this game. Not taking this, but if you like an underdog, Diamondbacks are probably one of them you can look at.
And the sweat is over, Chelsea, so it was quite painless here as the Rockies score with nobody out. So we'll see if they can continue to tack on. But it looks like 2 runners are going to come in here in the bottom of the first. But it was worth it, though. It was worth it. It was a plus money number. You got through the first half inning, just not able to close it out here as Trevor Story gets actually thrown out at third base, but 2 runners do end up scoring on that one. Let's keep it moving here. Pittsburgh and Detroit, second game of the doubleheader, over under 6. We don't know who's playing. Money line number minus 119. Interesting one in that, but I do want to get your thoughts here on Arizona. Did you go over Arizona, Cincinnati here, Chelsea? I was trying to call in your team total here. Did we get your opinion on that?
Well, fresh off a loss, I don't love this game either, and I feel pressured to give a play, but I don't love it, and so
There it is.
It's a no-go for me. I was kind of looking at a first 5 over for the Reds, just because if you look at the first 5 over-under records, the Reds are one of the hottest teams to the first 5 over. 9-6 on the season and 6-4 in their last 10. Merrill Kelly, I think it is a little bit easier to score off than Zach Gallen. Yesterday, I had the Diamondbacks in the first 5 just because my logic of Zach Gallen is good. Not a complicated handicap there, but it ended up winning. Don't love anything here, so I'm staying away.
All right, quickly here, Kyle, that doubleheader, Pittsburgh and Detroit. Go ahead, give me a look on that, or just give me a fast forward on that. Your choice.
Yeah, it's really a fast forward. It's a doubleheader game. We don't know who's going to play. That's just a live betting spot. When you're going to get those short doubleheaders, and maybe the early part of your day didn't go well, or you're a Pirates fan, you're a Tigers fan, just live bet it. Or take a Nerfie. Just have a Nerfie, hang back. Make a mimosa or cocktail and watch a Nerfie. It doesn't always work out, but someone said 14 of the last 18 games played. No runs first inning. So, it's just bad luck. That's just bad luck.
Yeah, it is here. I don't even have the pitcher schedule for that game. I have Turnbull coming in for the Tigers.
There's nobody for the Pirates yet.
So we're going to cap the game without a pitcher. Go ahead, Jason. Give me a winner.
Yeah, that's exactly. So we'll fast forward on this one. I got nothing for that one.
No, exactly. I was talking to Chelsa. Maybe a Nerfie in that game certainly would make some sense. Cooler conditions there, but we don't know the pitcher for Pittsburgh to see who actually is coming up. Any early thoughts on that game, if you have any, Chelsa, on that game between the Pirates and the Tigers?
No, I feel like I'm being set up for failure. So no, I'm not taking faith.
Yep, we need some inside information on who that pitcher is actually going to be, but it's not even a great matchup as is, even if that game was a standalone game at night. We'll keep moving on. 7:10 first pitch, 9:67, 9:68. Toronto and Boston. Thornton versus Richards open up at 121 offshore at Pinnacle as a favorite towards the Boston Red Sox, now sitting at about 125. Some of the New Jersey books as high as 136. Over-under opened up at 10, drops down to 9.5. Kyle, what are we looking at here between this AL East struggle between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox?
We're looking at another game that might get postponed. Unfortunately, this game is in real risk. It looks like there's 2 weather systems moving through the area, so it's going to be very, very dicey if this game's even played. So I'll make it short and sweet. If the game is played, I like Boston. I like their bats a lot, even though it would be poor hitting weather. Advantages across the board. I like Richards just a little bit more, actually a whole lot more than Thornton here. I would take Boston, but I wouldn't start betting that game now because there's a really, really good chance that game's not played tonight.
Yeah, taking a look at the hitting conditions here tonight. If it does actually get played, you're talking about 60 degrees with a wind blowing out at Fenway of double digits. So if you can maybe dance in between the raindrops, and there might be some options, Jason, as I bring you into the conversation here. Thornton's on the mound, the right-hander, and if you look at that Boston lineup, they have been mashing righties. Verdugo, 409, Martinez, 568, Bogarts, 417, Devers, 370, Vasquez, 357, Gonzalez, 365. That's all their weighted on base averages. They can do some damage, but again, is the game going to get played? What are we looking at, Jason?
Yeah, that's the problem. I wouldn't bet this game, but obviously, I love the over 10. I think the Red Sox have the advantage. I would look at them minus 120 in the first 5. But Richards, he struggled versus righties this season. Look at that top of the order for the Blue Jays. 4 righties that have plenty of potential there. And then also, of course, the Red Sox offense, like Kyle said, they're terrific. Really good offense. They've looked really good to start the season and have continued with that against Thornton. They should have no problems as well. So the weather is holding me back, but I do agree with the over 10 and the Red Sox in the first 5.
All right, taking a look here, the San Francisco Giants, 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning, just doubled off the wall, so maybe we can get a runner home here and cash in on a live play while we're still in the air. Back up to Fenway and Boston, Chelsea, taking a look at these 2 pitchers. We do like the fact that Boston is hot. There are some weather conditions in this game. Are we sticking with Boston here, or maybe taking a look at the Toronto Blue Jays?
Yeah, in baseball, I think it's important to ride the hot teams when those sticks are hot, and the Red Sox are swinging it better than anybody in baseball right now, the highest OPS in baseball. And plus, I have some questions for the Blue Jays starting Trent Thornton. It looks like he's only supposed to go a few innings. He's going to be kind of like an opener coming out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. So if you think that Blue Jays bullpen can withstand these Red Sox bats, I don't. I think the biggest concern here is the weather. So a stay away one for me, but I would lean the Red Sox.
All right, keep it going. 9:59, 9:60. Kyle, going to bring you back into the conversation on your New York Mets. Maybe they can get more than one run. I don't know. We'll check today. Peterson, the lefty on the mound versus Zach Davies. Over under 7.5 across the board. 126 as a slight favorite towards the Mets. That actually opened up at 136, so dropping down lower. They're cold conditions. It's not hitting weather. Welcome to Wrigley, Kyle. What are we looking at?
Oh, it's so ugly. It's just 2 teams like the Mets. They're right on my shit list right now. I'm just tired of the Mets, and they're tired of playing in the cold weather. And then it's everybody's favorite team to bet on, the Cubs, right? What the hell do we do with the Cubs? I guess here, like, this is a complete stay. I don't know how you trust either of these teams. I'll give the slight advantage of the Cubs, even though Davies is no world beater and pretty bad. I think Peterson might just be. I know he had a good start in his last outing and put up 55 FanDuel points. By the way, massive game, and he's sitting there at 7,100 on DraftKings. So if you want to maybe get a value with some upside, he could be a guy there. Other than that, not a lot of love here. You mentioned the not great hitting conditions for the weather. I do have a little bit of Baez and Bryant, a couple of the righties for the Cubs. There's some power upside there, even though it's bad weather. You look at the Mets, and it's a whole lot of, okay, how am I supposed to trust that guy? Can't trust that guy. Can't trust that guy. Dom Smith has some nice splits here. I don't mind that. And even Pete Alonso if you want to go the Mets. But for me, really a stay away. I would slightly lean the Cubs, which makes me sick to my stomach to say, in an underdog spot.
I got to say, I slightly lean to the Cubs as well, Jason. Taking a look at your Mets in this game, Peterson, the lefty on the mound, xFIP on the season, very good at a 3 even. Looking at left-handed batters against him, he's dominated, but righties have done a little bit of damage, and we do knock the Cubs for their offense. But against left-handed pitching, they've done very well. Contreras, 437, Rizzo, 453, Bryant, 550, and Baez, 420. So there we go. And by the way, come on, round him. Did he round him? I didn't even round him. Jesus Christ. Go ahead. Give your opinion on this. I've had it.
Like you said, of course.
I can't take
it. Like you said, of course, the Cubs have done well against lefties so far this season. Small sample size, but it's really boom or bust for the Cubs. They're going to hit high. They're going to hit for high ISO. They're also going to have heavy strikeout numbers. So you get what you get, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree. The Cubs should probably win this game. Don't want to say that. Hopefully nobody records this or whatever or goes back to it. But yeah, I think Cubs will probably win this one.
All right. Just to give you guys an update here. There's 2 outs in the inning. There's a man on second base. Base hit the left field. Donovan Solano's on second base, pulls his hamstring going to third, so he doesn't score easily. And now there's 2 outs. You can't even make this up sometimes. This is why gambling is very hilarious and very angering at the same moment. Chelsea, take a look at this game going over here at Wrigley. Cold conditions, but I do think the Chicago Cubs have an advantage at the plate. What are you looking at here? Maybe a dog shot with the Cubs or looking at the Mets here?
Yeah, I think this is a value play, just plain and simple. You take the underdog in the Cubs here. They're at home. And plus, like you mentioned, they're actually hitting pretty good against lefties. And if you look at the last 7 days, they lead the majors in OPS, which is crazy just because their offense was so bad to start this season. But they've come on a little bit stronger. And that's when you buy a team when their stock is really low. And that is the Cubs here. So I'll take them at plus money at home.
All right, getting some updates here as well. Houston has now tied up the Rockies in the top of the second inning with a 2-run blast. That's now 2-2. Over-under jumps live to 13 in that game. Buster Posey's at the plate now with 2 outs and a runner on first and third, which is ridiculous that I'm even calling this right now and still paying attention to this game, but yet here I am. 969, 970, last game of the day. We'll talk about Tampa and Kansas City. Another cold weather situation. Waka versus Junis, roughly a pick'em depending on which outlet you're shopping at, and a total that goes from 8.5 offshore down to 7.5 across the board. Cheap number here, Kyle? What are we looking at between these two?
Yeah, I kind of like the rules. And by the way, I'm doing like the live updates. I did not know Buster Posey's name was Gerald. They call him Gerald Posey here.
If he doesn't get a base hit, he will be Gerald for the rest of his life. So go ahead. Yeah.
That is the angle I was going. And I think I kind of like the Big D thing, too. Are we going to call Donnie Big D from now on in here, too? He did that. Sprinkled that in earlier. Big
Doesn't
D.
Hurt.
Can have worse nicknames than Big D. But I'm just saying. But I like the Royals here. And look, I've been taking the Royals a lot, and sometimes they burn me, sometimes they don't. They've been okay here. You're getting plus 130 minus a half run in the first 5. Neither one of these lineups scare me now. We're going to talk. Tampa Bay is one of the hotter teams in the league right now as well. What have they won? 4 or 5 straight here. So they're not putting up a ton of runs while they do it, but they're not one of the worst. So Tampa Bay has been pretty good. The Royals have lost a couple of games. I'll take that plus money on the Royals. I actually like Junis quite a bit on DraftKings. You're getting him for 6,400, 26 and a 29 in his last 2 starts against Tampa Bay. Over 33 in each of his first 2 starts this year. A weighted 3-year OPS, 642. When I look at the Royals bats, it's kind of boom or bust, right? Like we know Jorge Soler, he's going to strike out or he's going to hit a home run. That's all he's going to do. There's absolutely no talent in between there. But he does have 13 at-bats off Walker in his career, 6 hits, 3 of those were home runs. So you want to take a little home run pop on a guy like Soler who's had success against Walker? I think you could do that. Benintendi has some nice numbers here. So just a few more guys on Kansas City. Salvador Perez has homered a couple times off Walker. Whit Merrifield is good to get on base in every single game. So when I just look at the lineups, advantage Royals here in terms of what they're facing today. I'll take that plus money first 5. Last game of the day. Let's go with an underdog. Give me the Royals.
We'll see, because I'm looking at this game from Kansas City's side going up against right-handed pitching, and it's disastrous. I mean, Salvador Perez has a weighted on base average of 509. Everybody else is an abject disaster. We'll see how it plays out because you get some runs yesterday. Jason, looking at this game between Tampa Bay and Kansas City, your thoughts?
So we watched Walker in his last start against the Yankees, and I know against the Yankees it's like whatever because their offense has been really bad, but he looked really good in that game. Allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts against the Yankees in his last time out. The Rays are hard to bet against. They're also hard to bet for. They're the Rays. Their offense really struggles at times, and their pitching is usually pretty good at most of the times. And obviously, Walker trying to restructure his career there in Tampa Bay, and that start might have been able to do that. We'll have to see moving forward. So this is a no bet for me, of course, but it's obviously a pick-em. It's 50%. In a pick-em, usually you would take the team that you'd expect to finish higher in the standings with more wins. So I would look at the Rays here, but I got no bet on it.
All right, Buster Posey flies out to the wall, so no runs score because of injury, death, and maiming on the base paths. But we'll take a look at this game and continue here, Chelsa, out in Kansas City, looking between these two teams, Tampa Bay and Kansas City. I don't like the lineup here at all for Kansas City. Are you seeing a pathway to victory for the Royals or maybe another shot on the Rays here?
I think I'm looking at a strikeout prop because if you look at the Rays, they strike out the second most in all of baseball. Junas's strikeout prop is 4.5. I will be taking the over. He struck out 6 in his last start against the Blue Jays in 5+, which if you have a guy that can strike out a good number in 5 innings, that's usually where you want to go because we don't know how long these starters will go. Is the problem with a lot of these guys. It's really depressing when your guy gets pulled and you lose by the hook on some of these strikeout props. But luckily, these are 2 AL teams, and it's not going to be brain fart there. But yeah, they're not going to have a substitution if their or if their spot comes up in the lineup. So I'll be looking at a strikeout prop for Junis against the Rays.
Not a bad look here because take a look at the seasonal numbers here versus right-handed pitching for the Rays. Arozarena, 32% strikeout percentage. Kyle, I'm going to ask you real quick here. Is it low or low for the Rays here real quick?
It is, son of a bitch. It is low. It's low because low
ding,
left.
ding, ding.
There you go, 27.5. Very good by you. And Sugo, 35%. Kiermaier, 28%. Adam is 23%. And Zunino in the 9-hole, 33%. Let's get some strikeouts in this game. We completed the entire card, still trying to cheer on some of these in-game wagers, which should already be done, but they are not. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to some best bets and bankers on the card. Kyle, we'll start with you first today. What are we digging into?
I like the Angels first 5, minus 120, up. Minus 0.5, minus 120. I love the Angels today. I think they get it done against Fulton Fadich. And I'll take that A's team total over 3.5 at minus 120 as well. In the warmer weather out there in Oakland, I think they can get it done against the Twins.
All right, I'll go second here. I don't actually have a play of the day today, but I am betting 2 wagers that we are going to cash in at McDonald's. Already talked about them earlier. The San Diego Padres. I would never give this as a play of the day because most people can't bet this. Padres first 5 innings, over 2 runs in that game, minus 120. And just for a play that most people can get on, the Atlanta Braves team total over 3.5, minus 140. I got to bet MGM. I don't really love it, but I feel there is some value. 9-4 on the season with my play of the days. Hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with those. But if that weather conditions to me, honestly, was 70 degrees in the Bronx, we would be all over that game. But not. It's hard to bet these games, team total overs in the 40s and the 30s. But I do have 2 games that I do like that I will be betting some money on. You're up next here, Jason. What are we looking at? Do you have a best bet banker or play of the day that we can chew on here?
Yeah, so earlier I said under 5.5 in the first 5 in the Astros Rockies games. Can we cut that out? Can we just move on from that and say I never said it?
Can
we do that?
too.
Yeah, the Nerfy didn't happen either. It's all gone.
I still have 2 runs, so we're going to knock on wood and hope that these pitchers can get going.
Yeah.
Didn't expect a home run in this game, especially 2 guys that allow less than 1 homer per 9 innings.
There's another home run. 3-2 now, Rockies.
I just jinxed myself again, so now we're down to 1 run here. So we're going to move on from that one. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I quit. I'm
There
done.
you go. Chelsea, what are we looking at here? Any best bets here for you?
Yeah, we're going to go.
Yeah, this game looks like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, Chelsea. Hold on, Jason. What do you got? Go. I thought you were just so upset you couldn't continue. Go ahead.
No, I'll go with the Nationals minus 0.5 in the first 5 innings at minus 110, and hopefully we can get that one back because this has been a disaster in the snow. I don't know how we've seen 2 home runs already. I'm confused, so I'm just gonna go in the corner and go to timeout after this.
Confusion is how we are living today. And Chad Cannon in the chat box. He looks the Braves team total over 2.5 plus 135 in the first 5 innings. Get after it, Chad. Chelsea, go ahead. What are we digging on tonight? Some best bets and bankers that we can look at.
Yeah, this game just started, so I don't know if you can still bet it, but I like Oakland, the hottest team in baseball right now. They've won 10 in a row. I'm not standing in front of that train right now, especially with how Frankie Montas is pitching. Hopefully he doesn't make me look stupid while I'm talking because this game is going on right now. But if you look at his last 2 starts, he's only allowed 1 run, striking out 12 batters in just 12 innings of work. This A's staff has the best ERA in all of baseball with a 1.08 ERA. And I keep looking down to make sure I'm not sounding like a moron. Top 5 in OPS when it comes to the bats. I like the A's. Streaking, hottest team in baseball. Let's take the A's.
Streaking through the quad is how we'll leave it today.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep, there you go. See, I'm quick on that stuff. I can segue right with the best of them. But we'll clear the bases out here. Another fun show on a Wednesday. Hit the entire card. Some live games still here just to give you updates. Phillies 3-1 over the Giants. The Orioles and the Marlins 3-0 in the 8th inning. The Pirates 3-2 in the 5th inning of the first game of that doubleheader. 3-2 Rockies and the Astros, which obviously the Rockies are winning, and the Twins and the Athletics just underway out on the West Coast. Thank you guys for joining us once again. Hopefully we can bring in some winners here. Should already have some winners early. As you see, look, when you've been through the wars here, you expect everything to happen, including blown tires on the base pass, costing you runs and victories. But thanks again for tuning in today. A lot of support for the show so far already. We're going to be here all throughout the spring and the summer, and we do love the Wednesdays that we get to spend with Chelsa Messinger here, joining us to pick up some of these victories. I'm Donnie Seymour. He's Kyle Purviance, Jason Radowitz, and Chelsa Messinger. We are sportsbookreview.com, and this was your Major League Show for Wednesday. Back at it tomorrow on Thursday. Good luck with your wagers. Ooh, big inning.